85 million. Holy shit. Holy shit. God damn. Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel and thank you for clicking on the video. So yeah, as you see in the intro, Cyte-09 can put out some serious damage. In that clip, I even forgot to do the alt fire to apply cold and increase the critical damage even more. So there is still ways to pump out even more damage with this frame. I didn't have a companion. All I did was in a controlled environment, see how much damage I can push my build, and it's pretty crazy. So we're going to talk about Cyte-09, his abilities, the build that I recommend, and some mistakes that I'm seeing on YouTube of people and their builds that I don't recommend you copying. So let's get into it. Let's quickly talk about Cyte-09's passive really quick. So it reads, weak point kills increase Cyte-09's weak point critical chance by 1% up to 300% for the duration of the current mission. Now this is one of the best passives in the game currently. This is just something that cannot be overlooked. It can pretty much bring any weapon online with low crit. It just increases his damage like crazy, and it incorporates with his first skill very well. And we'll get into the first skill soon here, but the first skill will highlight those weak points for you, making it super easy to just hit it and build your passive up in probably about 2 minutes to max rank. It's very, very strong. Now, Cyte-09's Seek ability is also really good, namely due to the punch through aspect. So what you do is you actually plant an antenna on the ground. You can have up to 3, and it's a cone, but the angle of the cone cannot be adjusted by range or any other stat. It is just a forward facing cone. You do scale the range of how far the cone can protrude outward. So in my case, I have my cone at 160 meters. But basically you put it down and angle it towards where the enemies are kind of coming out, and you start shooting them with any weapon in your arsenal, including his 4th skill, which we'll get into shortly. But it also increases the weak point damage, and that scales by strength. And you know, we'll get into the build, but my current weak point damage increase is 157%. Like you see in the background, the damage is just crazy insanely high, as well as in the intro. But his first ability, put it down 3 times, angle it to where the enemies are at, scales with strength and range, and the punch through is almost 30 meters of punch through. That is basically shooting through the entire tile set wall landscape. It's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. Now, resupply is his second ability, and it's probably my favorite ability in the game right now. Basically, you give yourself infinite ammo and any status type you want, guaranteed to land on any weapon you want. Now, I decided to pair it with his signature weapon, Reconifix, because it has 200 rounds in the mag, and with the weak point combination in the punch through, you literally turn into Rambo shooting through walls with wall hacks, basically. Like you see in the background, you never stop shooting. When you activate the ability, it will automatically reload your weapon, but also drop 2 ammo boxes that you can walk over and auto reload and auto reignite the status type that you have automatically without having to recast the ability. This ability is completely insane. Furthermore, you also increase your damage when this ability is activated. Now, in my case, with the strength that I have, it's 52%. And when you use his 4th ability, his exalted weapon, his sniper, the neutralizer, it's 104% increased damage. It doesn't matter what status type you put on, it just increases that damage by X%, whatever your values are. This ability is amazing. I truly think that Cyte-09 is probably the best Warframe we have received since Wisp in terms of what I think the mainstream Warframe player base is gonna like. And we all know how popular Wisp is. I think Cyte-09 is that next one in line. I don't think we've had a popular frame like this since Wisp. This frame is incredible. Now, Evade is Cyte-09's 3rd ability, and it's just as good as the rest of his kit. In fact, it's also his Subsume ability. We now have an ability in the game that you can put on any Warframe and make them invisible. I definitely plan on making lots of videos testing the extent that this subsume and what you can reach with it. But on Cyte-09, it's perfect. It highlights the heads, obviously, with the first skill, so it's very easy to upkeep the invisibility. But basically, you cast it and you have about 15 seconds to allow yourself to get as many headshots as possible, capping yourself out at 45 seconds duration. Now, every time you get a headshot while invisible, you increase the duration of the skill and also heal yourself. Those values are dependent on duration and, of course, strength. But like I said, this is his subsume ability. It's very, very good. I already have a couple ideas of some Warframes I want to put this on. But basically, you can make any Warframe in the game invisible thanks to this skill. And perma invisible as long as they're getting headshots. Amazing. Just amazing. And finally, Cyte-09's fourth ability, his Exalted Sniper. This thing is so awesome. It basically has infinite ammo as long as you continue to cast your 2. Everything about his kit works in unison. This is like the Nightest effect, where you have 4 abilities and a passive that all work in conjunction with each other. This is another perfect example of why Cyte-09 is going to be such an incredibly popular Warframe. He has it all. Now, his fourth ability is his Exalted Weapon. It has a huge damage multiplier, scales with strength. The weapon, when you fire a shot, it will cause ricochets to happen. Now, there is some damage loss per ricochet, but honestly, it's hardly noticeable. It's still going to be in the millions. And the number of ricochets is also capped, as well as the damage loss. You can't lower that or increase it or anything like that. It also has an alt fire that when you alt fire, it lobs a freezing grenade. It applies 10 stacks of cold in an AoE, which, if you know about the cold rework, it will increase your critical damage. Everything about his kit is about upkeeping invisibility, increasing your damage, and having a nice consistent flow of gameplay. It is awesome. This weapon does a shitload of damage. It's very, very strong, and when you combine it with the punch through and his passive, you're going to be red critting. I mean, like you saw in the intro, 85 million tier, I think it's tier 3 or 4 with the double exclamation point red crit. Super, super, super strong. And then those ricochets doing so much damage. This guy is disgusting. Make sure you farm and build this guy. Build him twice so that you can subsume and allow yourself to have the third ability subsume on other Warframes too. Excellent ability, excellent Warframe, excellent kit. Let's get into the build and talk about how you should actually build him versus how I've seen people build him. So as I mentioned before, I see 2 different builds being recommended for his fourth ability, Neutralizer Exalted Sniper. There's only one answer, and I'm going to show you why. Now, answer number 1 is the build that I prefer, which uses the new mod Primary Acuity. It's at max rank. I've combined it with the other new mod that gives you more damage when you're invisible. You cannot slot multi-shot. So there is absolutely no multi-shot other than the base 1, okay? Then we also included target acquired. I don't see many people using this mod either. It is a headshot multiplier. Where else would you shoot your shots than the head with Cyte-09? Okay, we're also using semi-rifle cannonade. I don't see anybody using this. It's more damage, gives you more punch through, and it reduces the negative on critical delay to 0. It completely removes that 20% fire rate, minus fire rate. It's awesome. So more damage, damage, and crit chance and some status. Okay, this is option number 2. This gives you a lot of multi-shot. Now you'll see, wow, the multi-shot's 2.4 and wow, 5.8 total. That's pretty good, right? Well, no, it's not. So I'll show you this build first, and then you can compare it to the one that I prefer. I don't know why people are recommending using multi-shot over Primary Acuity. It makes absolutely no sense. I really don't know why. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and activate this. We have viral on everything here, okay? We'll go invisible. Activate this, because it is more damage, okay? Hit him with this, and shoot him in the head. 8.4 heat, okay? Not a whole lot of red crits, if I'm being honest. Okay, so that is the second build. Let me show you my preferred one. Okay. Now keep in mind, this has no multi-shot whatsoever. Get more damage. Oh. Hold on. Why is this not working? Hello? Alright. I guess we'll just have to cut this out. Alright. Activate this. Activate this. Okay, everything is... They've got rad on. They've got all the fun stuff. Okay, not invis, right? We activate invis. Double exclamation point. 41 million? Like, come on, dude. It's not even close. $36 million. It's not even close. It's not even close. So, there's your answer. Use the first build with primary acuity. Do not fall into the trap of multi-shot. Multi-shot is not needed on Cyte-09 at all. Utilize primary acuity. That is what's going to give you the big fat damage numbers. Especially on the little guys. Yeah, it's not even close. And finally, let's talk about Cyte-09 in the build that I have for him. Now, it's only 2 Forma, but it does have 5 Tau shards in there. The Tau shards are all ability strength. Now, I highly recommend that you invest this many Taus into him. Most people who are watching this video who can make this build should have this many Taus. If you don't, I recommend you go farm for it, or you may have to adjust the build as necessary because this many Taus is enabling me to hit 209 strength. Now, if we go into the build here, we are using one of the new arcanes. This one I think is mandatory for him. You get just more ability strength and critical final multiplier, which again is going to apply to all your weapons, including his 4th ability. And we have multi augmented. When this is maxed out and this is maxed out, I actually am at 300% strength with this build. We are using precision intensify just to make his neutralize just do such incredible damage. Now, I don't know what the whole value is of the damage multiplier when everything's online, but it's definitely over 4 times damage multiplier. It is extremely powerful. We are using 3 different auger sets. Now, if you know anything about auger, this is going to give you a little bit of extra overshields. Now, your invis, you shouldn't take too much damage, but sometimes those Eximus leech or electric Eximus units can deal some damage to you, and having that little cushion of extra overshields is quite nice. We are using power drift instead of prime sure-footed, because prime sure-footed isn't necessary. The enemies can't see you, so therefore they can't attack you and knock you down. We are using one of the new auras. This is going to increase your weak point critical chance by a whole lot, not just for you, but your whole team as well. Archon stretch, we're using this just because instead of normal stretch, because depending on what your companion is, in my case, I was using the Dierga. I'm actually able to get a little bit of energy regen when it applies the shock procs and viral and stuff like that. We also have transient fortitude for more strength. Overextended is something you could probably get away with not using, but I like the extra range because it buffs this like crazy, and so it allows you to see enemies super far away, enabling you to hit enemies further away and causing more ricochets and things like that. So the build is quite easy to actually make. It's only 2 Forma, and Precision Intensify is a relatively new mod, but most people should have it if they've been doing Deep Archimedia and things like that. Multi-Augmented is quite new. Now, This arcane is locked behind rank 5. I did actually have to spend platinum to get this, and it's not even maxed. So I highly recommend you get this, but you will need to be rank 5 with the new vendor in the Hall of Area area. So, but yeah, this is the build, and as you saw in the gameplay, I think this is the best build that you can make for Cyte-09. That's also pretty affordable. We don't need to do any sort of umbral mods, precision intensify. It goes straight to your 4th ability, giving you as much damage as possible, and that's why you saw 85 million at the top when everything was all maxed out and, you know, in a controlled environment. But on average, you'll see anywhere between 30 to probably 50 million red crits with double exclamation points. So very, very strong, very, very good Warframe. And I highly recommend you go out of your way to get this thing, because he might be the best Warframe in the game right now. And I'm not just saying that because of recency bias. I truly think that his kit is one of a kind. It works perfectly in unison, and it even helps your allies too. So he's got it all. Go get this thing. He's incredible. Enjoy Warframe 1999. And yeah. And that brings us to the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. This is actually my 3rd video covering Warframe 1999. So if you like this type of content, be sure to subscribe and leave a like on the video. It does help me out. And be sure to check out my Nyx rework video. And I also talked about one of the other new arcanes that released, Arcane Bellicose. Very good arcane. Go check out that video as well. But if you watched till the end, I thank you very much. And I will catch you in the next one. Peace out.